In this segment, I'm going to take you through the process of testing the baseboard for power. Oftentimes we'll have you do this in the event that you have power to the monitor but are not being presented with a power light. This will tell us if power is getting to the individual boards from the power input, or if you've already tried swapping motor boards and your axis continues to not operate. We'll have you test the baseboard to make sure that power is getting to those boards. To begin, the first thing we're going to do is take off the cover. We always like to start all of our repair processes with the power off. Remove the 4 screws. There is a ribbon cable attached to the back side of this to the communication board, so when removing, remove carefully. Pull up on the 2 side wings that retain the ribbon cable. And for this test, you can just set the cover aside. Once we have the cover off, the first thing we're going to do is test for power at the main power supply plug. It can easily be identified by the 2 14 gauge red and black wires going in. There's enough room on the back side of the plug that you can insert your pins from your multimeter. And once tested, take note of that voltage for later testing. Once we've checked voltage, the next step is going to be to remove 3 motor boards and the 1 COM board. Prior to removing those, you're going to want to disconnect the main power plug. Simply squeeze and pull out. At that point in time, you're safe to remove each board. They're just a tension fit, so you may have to wiggle them slightly to get them out. You can go ahead and leave all wires connected to them at this time and simply let them hang. At this point, with the boards out of the way, go ahead and reinsert the power plug. We'll begin checking our individual slots for power. With 1 pin of your multimeter on the ground, and the other testing for positive on the motor input, the top 3 on the right-hand side should show positive power, and these should match the reading we took at the beginning on the power plug. Go to each board, testing those. For the communication board, the lower left most pin should present power. And again, match the first reading we took at the beginning on the power plug. Having done that test, if all the inputs there show proper power, go ahead and unplug your power connector. Install each board, making sure they're seated firmly. When installing the motor boards, each hole and the wires coming out of that hole correspond with a receptacle. Make sure those are all put in their respective slots. Making sure they're seated firmly. And then tucking the wires neatly in out of the way. Go ahead and reinsert your power plug. Again, making sure it's seated firmly. And then we can reinstall the cover. Once all the boards have been installed, we're ready to install the cover. Prior to installing the cover, however, make sure the power supply to the monitor has been turned off. Pull up on the 2 little wings for the ribbon cable connector. And with the tan side of the ribbon cable facing to the right, insert fully in and press in on the connector, making sure it's a tight fit. laying the cable flat over the top of the boards, install the cover, and reinstall the screws. Had any of those testing procedures failed, we would then be looking at replacing the baseboard in this monitor. If all tests had passed, next best step would be to contact tech service at TFT for further testing procedures.